you do quite well out of it, and you see the money hit your bank, and you go, "Oh, this is what business is about." Okay, that's a pretty good reward. Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Ace, and I recently bought the Menominee territory in Queensland. Challenge is obviously you are responsible for your own business. You're not just an employee, and once the day finishes and you clock off, you go home, you don't have to worry about it. You do sort of have to keep an eye on, you are responsible for your spendings, your earnings, your invoicing and your quotations, and making sure it's all right. Once you sort of get a good grasp of that and you balance it with your work-life balance, it becomes pretty good. But like everything in a new venture, it can be a little bit tricky at first, but obviously the help from Hubby, you follow the process, you can't go wrong. Definitely there was doubts there because it was a safety net could potentially be removed into something that was unknown and whether it would work for me individually. And I'm early to mid 30s, so I'm still young, but not that young, I guess. And we just sort of thought, you know what, let's just give it a go. And from what I can gather, it's good business. I've heard good things about it. There's no reason why it shouldn't be good to me. And yeah, we were over in America before I purchased the business, and we were spending over having a great time, and I was so terrified to come back, but excited at the same time. I don't know which emotion was higher. Well, Hire Hub is a well-branded, obviously, franchise. Everybody knows it. The heavy lifting's been done. The software's been done. The call center's been done. The advertising's been done. You're a shoe-in already without having to do the marketing. You're not having to go essentially door knock and hand out flyers. Yeah, with the number one, essentially Australia's handyman service. So you're sort of a foot in the door already. And then by the time you're in the door and you start working, you become so busy anyway that you don't need to worry about marketing like I mentioned earlier. Mm. It's just, it makes more sense to do it this way than to try and go out by yourself and not have any. I mean, you'd essentially be going up against people like Hire Hubby. Yeah, who doesn't like a man enough to wear pink, right? But yeah, obviously wearing a magenta shirt, you're a bit of a beacon because there's not many companies that have the magenta shirt. Yeah, you definitely get noticed. Sometimes you get asked things on how to fix stuff when you might be at a service station on how do you fix this door or something like that. And the little stuff, believe it or not, is where the big stuff comes from. It might be putting a dryer on the wall and all of a sudden they go, hey, we want to do a renovation over here and we want this done. And you're like, okay, that was pretty handy that I had that dryer because there's 2 weeks worth of work and not bad. So it definitely leads into it. And I think the biggest thing is just being personable with your clients. That's sort of why they like you, why they pick you. The other thing I did notice once I obviously was in with Hire a Hubby, it's so much more different when you do a job, you quote it up, and you do quite well out of it, and you see the money hit your bank, and you go, "Oh, this is what business is about." Okay, that's a pretty good reward because obviously working for someone else, you never see that. You just see your same weekly pay come in, week out. When you have your own business, it's very exciting when you quote a job, do well on it, and the money comes in for the reward.